Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Man killed in fiery crash during car race. Police say a man was killed in a motor vehicle crash and two other people were injured during a street race on Friday night on the Horton Main Road in Lacova, St. Elizabeth. The police named the deceased as 51-year-old Anthony Dias. Reports are that about 11:40 p.m., Anthony was participating in a street race along with two other occupants in a Nissan Sunny motor car. He lost control of the vehicle and crashed into an ackee tree. The car burst into flames. The two occupants were taken from the motor car and rushed to hospital, where they have been admitted in serious but stable condition. Firefighters were called in to extinguish the blaze. Anthony's charred remains were later removed from the vehicle. Vendors in fear. Vendors who trade in and around Coronation Market in downtown Kingston are fearful, and even more as the Christmas season approaches. According to the vendors, gang feuds, many of them have had to take covers under stalls, while shoppers have been forced to scamper to safety as flooding gangsters trade bullets in the city's normally busy commercial district. The Kingston West Police have reassured the fearful vendors that violent crimes will not be the case for Warri this season, as they will be increasing security with assistance from the Jamaica Defence Force and the Transport Authority. The frustrated vendors reported that the tension started in September this year after 3 people were murdered in a week. Just before 8 a.m. on September 10, 2 men, 28-year-old Akeem Wilson and 41-year-old Kevin Mitchell, were murdered on Darling Street, meters away from the entrance of the market, in a drive-by shooting. Hours later, a male vendor was shot multiple times in West Parade. 6 days prior, a male vendor was shot inside the market. The Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF Corporate Communications Unit, which confirmed the shooting, said the victim was hospitalized in serious condition. We don't just need security at Christmas time. We have a lot of things going on in the market that makes coming out to earn with honest bread look small. If me never have family a depend upon me, I would give up the market. It is that bad in here, one vendor stated. Another added, to be honest, we see the police around the market area a lot, especially since week. We see them especially on Darling Street, so we know that they are working. The issue is the youths want mash up the place and mash up the business. The entire year hard because enough people afraid of town. We no want that again in a little Christmas. A third vendor said, a regular thing for when Christmas reach, boy just ride up on bicycle until if you empty your bag. Empty your bag of money. That is market for you. Enough time me get robbed and me start from scratch. So we would love it if we could see more police in the place with us. Senior Superintendent of Police Michael Phipps, Commanding Officer for Kingston Western Police Division, said the vendors and shoppers can expect just that. The senior superintendent stated that with the Christmas comes fast approaching, increased activities within the market district are expected and will be tackled head-on. We'll have to increase our numbers, and we will do this with the shoppers and vendors and the general transient population alike. We want to allow for them to traverse this space in a much safer way. The operational activities that we will be embarking on will be geared mainly towards preventing especially violent crimes and property crimes. We don't want no shooting and no murders, and we don't want nobody being robbed, he said. The senior superintendent added that the public order is also important in achieving this. We want to know that the sidewalks and so on are not overrun by persons who will be doing vending in the streets and so on. We want to know that persons will be able to walk in peace and no improper parking and such. Following the flare-up 3 months ago, the senior superintendent noted that there were some 9 deployments of different points with work taking place within the zone. He added, in terms of resources, we will have added numbers. Numbers will come from elsewhere to augment what we already have in the particular space. The JDF will support us and the Transport Authority will support us as well. I can assure the public that they will see increase in numbers in spaces. They will see mobile patrol in uniform and some in plain clothes. Update on District Constable and alleged attacker in Manchester shooting incident. The District Constable who was shot dead outside a bar in Hatfield, Manchester on Friday night has been identified as 53-year-old Dwight Gregory of the community. The constable has indicated that an investigation is now underway into the incident, which also left 50-year-old Eric Miller, otherwise called Burger, of a Manchester address dead. According to investigators assigned to the Mandeville Criminal Investigations Branch, the bodies of both men were discovered about 10 p.m. on an embankment near the establishment. Earlier reports stated that Gregory was shot during a robbery attempt in which he managed to fatally injure his attacker before succumbing to his injuries. 2 firearms, an illegal Springfield Smith & Wesson pistol, fitted a magazine containing 12 rounds of ammunition, and a Smith & Wesson revolver containing 4 rounds of ammunition were seized at the scene. Meanwhile, the police high command is expressing condolences to the family of District Constable Gregory as the Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF mourns the loss of another member. The high command is also encouraging members to avail themselves to service available through the JCF's Chaplaincy Service Branch and the Medical Services Branch as they continue to serve the people of Jamaica while coping with this tragic news. Teams from the Chaplaincy Service Branch as well as Community Safety and Security Branch are assisting the family as is customary, but they are also on hand to support your members in this difficult time, the High Command said. Domestic abuse victims urged to seek help, not retaliate. A call has been made for victims of domestic abuse not to retaliate with violence, but to get out of the relationship and seek help. Acting Director for Community Liaison of the Bureau of Gender Affairs, BGA, Narda McLaren, is making the call, said that intimate partner violence is normalized when the abuser responds with similar aggression. We are creating abusers and perpetrators. We are normalizing violence, and we are accepting violence if we are doing things like that. If we are to break the cycle of abuse, we can't buy guns, we have to leave, McLaren said. She was addressing the National Training for First Level Responders on Gender-Based Violence GBV held recently at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel in New Kingston. McLaren said that when violence becomes a routine in intimate partners' relationships, it is best for the victim to move out of the situation. She said that the children who witness such violence are at serious risk for their long-term physical and mental health. If somebody is a psychopath, we move away from them. That is why we have shelters. We are not encouraging abuse. Get help and leave the situation. Some things you cannot do by yourself. You have to get the necessary interventions, she said. Coordinator for the Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF Domestic Violence Intervention Centers, Inspector Jacqueline Dillon, commended the hard work of the first responders and urged them to continue to show compassion to the victims. No matter how many times one victim comes to you, always treat them with empathy. Let us not re-offend our victims, but aid them in dealing with the situation at hand, she said. The objectives of the forum were to increase public awareness about GBV and the work of first responders and service providers such as domestic violence officers, guidance counselors, district constables and pastors, and provide sensitization about the first government-owned and operated national shelter for survivors of GBV. Some of the issues addressed included sexual harassment, domestic violence, and human trafficking, with testimonials from survivors. There was also a wrap session and discussion on a GBV case study, the Protection Order, and the Domestic Violence Act. 52 new COVID cases in Jamaica, 1 more death reported. The Ministry of Health and Wellness reported 52 new COVID-19 cases and 1 death on Friday, December 3rd, bringing the infections total to 91,421 and total deaths to 2,407. The new cases comprise 34 females and 17 males, with ages ranging from 10 months to 95 years. 1 case is under investigation. The cases were recorded in Kingston and St. Andrew 22, St. James 14, Clarendon 6, St. Anne 3, Manchester and St. Catherine 2 each, St. Elizabeth 1, St. Thomas 1, and Westmoreland 1. Deceased is a 70-year-old female from St. Thomas. In the meantime, 77 more people recovered in the last 24 hours, bringing total recoveries to 62,824. Currently, 126 people are hospitalized, 17 of which are severely ill, while 9 are critically ill and 17 are moderately ill. BCIC boosts breast cancer testing in St. Anne and St. Mary. British Caribbean Insurance Company, BCIC, recently donated $150,000 to the Jamaica Cancer Society's St. Anne and St. Mary divisions. The donation was made last week by BCIC Ochorials at the JCS Paint Orchard Pink Walk Run event, for which BCIC was a gold sponsor. Speaking on the donation, BCIC's Ochorials branch supervisor, Tricia Lorman, said BCIC is very honored to lend its support to the Jamaica Cancer Society St. Anne and St. Mary division. We continue to salute survivors, empower the fighters, and remember those that are unfortunately are no longer with us. In expressing her gratitude, Marvelyn Williams, St. Anne St. Mary branch manager, JCS, noted that the donation will go towards enhancing the testing capabilities within the divisions. We are very grateful to BCIC for this much-needed support. This will help us to increase the access to mammograms and pap smears for persons within these divisions, she said. Vulnerability ranking leads to community vax days. US-based nonprofit American Friends of Jamaica Incorporation, AFJ, has partnered with the Private Sector Vaccine Initiative, PSVI, to implement a program that targets vulnerable communities and make vaccines available to residents within convenient proximities to their homes. Using data from the UWI-based Mona Geoinformatic Institution, MGI, the entities have identified 10 such communities in various parishes across the island and have already begun executing vax days in these locations. Along with other vulnerability markers, such as a number of comorbid residents and access to health care, the MGI findings profiles communities by rates of vaccination and distance from vaccination sites to identify communities spread across Kingston and St. Andrew, Clarendon, St. Catherine, and St. James. So far, the partners have provided vaccinations for residents in Kingston and St. Andrew communities such as Marvelly, Jonestown, Trenchtown, and Fletcher's Land, where along with support from Wesinco and Best Dressed Chicken, more than 800 residents were vaccinated. The AFJ remains committed to our goals to ensure we improve access to vaccination for all. We are pleased to partner with the PSVI at this time to go to these communities where the vaccination rates are low and the risk of severe illness and hospitalization for COVID-19 virus are high. The PSVI has been working with corporate entities and the Ministry of Health and Wellness for several months now and have demonstrated strong competence and efficiency in moving vaccination exercises around from one location to the next. As such, we are confident that this partnership will yield the desired results and that we will have more people in Jamaica vaccinated, protected from this deadly virus by the time we are finished, explained AFJ President Wendy Hart. For its part, the PSVI will implement a robust pre-vaccination educational and mobilization effort which will leverage the network of stakeholders groupings such as Women's and Communities Group, religious organizations, the Trade Union Movement, and the Medical Association of Jamaica MAJ to help raise awareness among residents of the targeted communities and to ensure the vaccine safety concerns are addressed towards a meaningful take-up of vaccines. Pre-vaccination engagement is very important to the success of any Vax Day exercise, stated Staffy Brown, PSVI project lead. We have seen that work very effectively with the corporates we have served over the last 3 months, and it is well-known strategy for securing the involvement of residents for community activities. So our strategy involves working with a wide range network of stakeholders such as churches, youth groups, and women's groups who are able to connect directly with their members ahead of the vaccination day help facilitate sensitization and support that will ultimately impact the outcome and overall take-up of the vaccines on Vax Day, Brown added. These community Vax Days are scheduled to run into December 2021. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.